Today, in this topic, we will study the introduction of physiology, the role of physiology means scope of physiology, introduction to cytology, the internal and external environments of body. There are two types of environments: external environment and internal environment. Internally body have also two environments, internal and external, and one is external environment like air. So we will start from physiology. This physiology word came from ancient Greek word which is coined by Funnell in 1449 1558. This is the combination of two words, the physis and logos. The physis and logos. Physis mean nature and origin, and logos mean physiology. The word physiology is coined by or developed by Funnell in 1449 to 1558, the age of this scientist, which means physis mean nature and logos mean study. So the study of nature origin is called physiology. Properly, we can define physiology as this is the branch of medical sciences in which we study the function of human body. This is the simplest definition for initial students. We will discuss three definitions. This is the first one. The second definition is branch of medical sciences in which we study the normal functions of body and body parts, human parts. And the exact definition of physiology is the branch of medical sciences, the branch of medical sciences which deals with number one, functions of body parts, functions of all body parts. We will take examples of kidneys, heart, etc. Eye. Second, all the mechanisms take place, the mechanisms and processes take place in body for maintenance and progression of life. All the chemical processes, all the physiological processes, all the mechanisms which are responsible, which are needed for maintenance of and progression of life, all the mechanism we will study in physiology. Like we are taking examples of, for example, we have a system in body which is called renin-angiotensin system, renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, which is responsible for the normal blood pressure in body. Renin-angiotensin aldosterone system. This is the process which is responsible for normal BP. If normal BP is 120/80, We will discuss this in detail in cardiology and heart. But the normal BP is 120 by 80, and this normal BP is maintained by this system, renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. This is the system between kidneys, heart, and lungs. if if we got any dysfunction in our lungs, in our kidneys, in our heart, it will affect normal blood pressure. So this is the system. And in physiology we are studying different types of mechanisms. There are thousands of mechanisms in our body. For example, platelets aggregation, meiosis, mitosis, reproduction, menstrual cycle. These are all the processes of physiology. The third one, the relation between, we study the relation between the internal environment of body with external environment. This is also the domain of physiology. If any change occur in external environment, it will affect internal. This is the proper definition of physiology. If we take example for this third one point, for example, we have trees. We have trees here. Trees. And this is sun. Sun is the main source of energy. And trees are autotrophs. They make their own food. Here one important reaction takes place which is called photosynthesis, in which water, carbon dioxide and rays, UV light, they react and form glucose C6H12O6 plus oxygen. Now listen, this oxygen is added to air. This glucose is added to fruits, apples, banana, for example. This glucose is stored in fruits. Now we have systems. We have system. From where this carbon dioxide occurs, we will see. We will prove here. We have a system which is called digestive system. Which is called digestive system. In digestive system we have esophagus and stomach, intestine, etc. Right? We eat apple. For example, we have apple, beautiful red apple, and we eat it. Our digestive system digests apple and convert it into glucose, sugars. From here the glucose absorbed into blood. It absorbed into blood. This blood is called systemic circulations. From heart it will be divided into all parts of body. منه دا کنه چې کله مونږ سیسیزو خورو هغه کې ګلوکوزي هغه مات شي هغه بلډ ته لاړ شي بلډ په ټول باډي کې ګرځي نو ګوره فار ایگزامپل وی هیو دا شی زران کما for example we have body tissues like here, this is one body tissue, this is another body tissue, and this is another body tissue. Here we have heart, we have heart here. Heart have four chambers. This is right atrium, this is left atrium, this is right ventricle, and this is left ventricle. From here the blood goes to heart, and from heart it is divided into all body tissues. For example, these are the tissues. We have capillaries here, Now, the glucose which we eat in apple is divided into whole body, and in all tissues glucose travels. So we have here glucose C6H12O6. We have C6H12O6. For example, this is tissue from hand, this is tissue from brain, this is tissue from heart. All have C6H12O6. From where this glucose occur? From eating apples, from eating bread, for example. Now we have another system here which is called respiratory system. Which is called respiratory system, and these goes side by side. These goes side by side. This is trachea. The trachea is divided into two two parts. This is one lung and this is another lung. For example, when we breathe, when we eat, we take glucose and amino acids and lipids, etc. But when we breathe, we take this air. We take this air, and air have oxygen, and air have oxygen. We took the oxygen into our lungs, into our alveoli. From here, do you know how many types of circulations are there in body? Come. There are pulmonary circulation, which is between lungs and heart. There is systemic circulation, which is between heart and body tissues. There is coronary circulation, which is between heart and heart. And there is hepatic circulation, which is between liver and heart. And there is one way circulation, which is called lymphatic circulation. Here we will take only two, pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. From here, pulmonary vein runs and goes to heart. Which heart? Left heart. It goes to left side of heart. From here, the oxygen is absorbed. Oxygen absorbed, and now this blood is called oxygenated blood. This is called oxygenated blood because it has oxygen. Every hemoglobin have 4 oxygens. Oxygenated blood goes to heart. When heart contracts, it goes to left ventricle, and from left ventricle, when left ventricle contracts, the blood goes to whole body. It goes to whole body. From here, the oxygenated blood travels and transported to body. These are the blood to tissues in the form of capillaries. So from here, oxygen absorbed into body tissues. Here now aerobic respiration take place. Aerobic respiration, and there is one difference between digestion and respiration, not breathing. Breathing is inhalation and exhalation of air, but respiration is the breakdown of glucose, proteins or lipids into small parts, small molecules and energy. Digestion is the breakdown of food which we eat to absorbable particles. From here, it reacts, and this is called aerobic respiration. C6H12O6, it reacts with this oxygen, and this is called aerobic respiration. Three things are formed here. Water, carbon dioxide plus ATPs, which is energy. And this energy can adenosine triphosphate, having stored energy, and we perform our daily works with this energy. This is toxic. As carbon dioxide is toxic, this is acidic. So our body, we really love our body because the body protect themselves itself from toxic things. This carbon dioxide will goes to blood in response of an exchange of oxygen. The blood gives us oxygen and we use carbon dioxide. But when carbon dioxide goes to the blood, this blood is called deoxygenated blood. This is deoxygenated blood. From on left side there is oxygenated blood, on right side there is deoxygenated blood. Now this deoxygenated blood will goes to heart. Which part? Right atrium. When right side contract, the deoxygenated blood goes to right ventricle. And from here, when the ventricle contracts through pulmonary artery, it goes to lungs. From here, carbon dioxide is present in blood. Carbon dioxide पके present है क्या? माने हाँ. न दिल तक carbon dioxide चले न चरता लाड़ो lungs. Carbon dioxide exchange into lungs in response of oxygen. We take oxygen from lungs and we use carbon dioxide. We take oxygen from blood and we give carbon dioxide. When we exhaled, we are outing carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide by exhalation goes to external environment. This is the carbon dioxide, which again react with water and forms glucose. This is the external environment and this is internal environment, and this is the relation between external and internal environment. If external environment have low oxygen, we will caused by hypoxia. We will take less oxygen and our body will not able to perform their normal functions. Now, this is called pulmonary circulation. This is called systemic circulation. We will discuss this in detail, but this is just a clue for external and internal environment relation. So, in physiology, we study the relation between external and internal environment. Understand? So this is the relation between external and internal environment. This is internal environment and this is external environment. We study we are studying relation between external and internal environment in physiology. Now what is the scope of physiology? What is the importance of physiology? Why we are studying physiology? There are a lot of points present in Google, etc. But I will give you only one point, scope, and that one point will cover all the points. Right? So scope of physiology. Scope of physiology. There is one important scope, and that is to explain the physical and chemical factors that are responsible for one, origin of life, number 2, development of life, number 3, progression of life. This is the scope of physiology, to explain the origin of life, the development of life, and the progression of life. Development and progression is all the chemical and physical processes take place in body. All the physical and chemical processes, all the mechanisms All the methods by which we maintain our life are studying in physiology. I explained in physiology. These are the mechanisms, are the processes needed for normal life maintenance. Understand? This is the scope of physiology. Shortly, to study, to explain the normal functions of body, but functions cannot cover the full definition of physiology, because we have a lot of things to study in physiology, right? Now we will go for cytology. We will go for this is all about introduction to physiology. But physiology is very vast field. It is a really big field. So every cell and every body, for example, from a small virus which we cannot even see with our naked eye, to complex human and trees, all the organisms have their own characteristics. Life maintaining characteristics and functions. Virus have their own function, human body have own function, bacteria have its own function, plants have its own function, photosynthesis. So we can divide, or the physiology is divided into several branches, like number one, human physiology. In human physiology we study human body, all the chemical processes. As a medical student we will discuss human physiology only, but we have viral physiology also. Viral physiology, we have bacterial physiology, and we have plants physiology, etc. So I want to clear that physiology is very big field, and we can divide. A single person cannot study all the physiology, even a human physiology. A person who study human physiology is physiologist like funnel. Virologist, a person which has specialty in viral physiology is virologist. A person who have experience in bacterial physiology is bacteriologist. And botanist. If a person have somewhat experience about all the microorganism, then we are called them microbiologist. But microbiology have also several branches like biotechnologist, right? So physiology is a big field, and we will take only human physiology, and as a medical student. Now we will go for cytology. GG Qurban, why? Now we will talk about cytology. Cytology is also two words, cyto and logos. And cyto mean cytology. Cyto mean cell, and logos mean study. What is cell? What is cell? The basic physiological and anatomical structure of body is cell. Basic physiological and anatomical unit of body. All living organism, or we can alternate this word with life. The physiological and anatomical unit of life. Physiological mean functional. Physiological mean functional. And anatomical mean structural. Now we will learn that why a cell is called a structural and functional unit. Why it is called structural and functional unit. We will take an example of cell from any part of body. For example, we take cell from heart, we take cell from kidney, we take cell from brain. Brain cell is very interesting. Brain. For example, we take brain, a simple brain. This is brain. We take one cell from brain, which is called neuron. Neuron. We have neuron here, for example. The structural and functional unit of brain is called neuron. Neuron. And neuron have a specialized structure. For example, this is a typical neuron. It have synapses on another side of axon. These are axon terminals. But all the brain is composed of neuron. So we call that the neuron is the structural unit, because brain is made up of neurons, but the function of brain is coordination. The function of brain is conduction and coordination. And conduction and coordinations occur in neuron. So this is the functional unit. The function of neuron is also dependent, the function of brain is also dependent upon neuron. The structure of brain is also dependent upon neuron. So we say that the neuron is the structural and functional unit of brain. If we take another example of, this is very long topic, conduction. Now the second example is, for example, kidney. And kidney is made up of nephrons. This is very tough. Nephrons have a lot of functions. If nephron damaged, our body damaged. Nephron is the structural and functional unit of kidney. For example, this is nephron. What is the function of nephron? Filtration. What is the function of kidney? Filtration. So the nephron is the functional unit of kidney, because both have same function. And kidney is made up of nephron. So nephron is the structural unit of kidney. These are the example of structural and functional units. After that, we have types of cell. We have a lot of types of cell, structurally and functionally. Broadly, we have two types of cell. One is prokaryotic cell, and the second one is eukaryotic cell. This is false cell. False mean having no proper genetic materials, having no proper nucleus, and this is complex cells. Multicellular organisms are made up of eukaryotic cells. But we have also another types. Anyone knows, apart from prokaryotic and eukaryotic, how many types of cells are there? cells. Just learn it. Cell types. We have three types of cell in our body. Because we are medical students, so we will focus on human. And human, we have three types of cells. The first one is labile cell. First one is labile cell. The second one is stable cell. And the third one is permanent cell. Permanent cell. What is the real difference between these three? Labile cells are continuously divides. Continuously divides. Divides like skin cells, like hair cells, like nail cells. They are continuously divides. Stable cells are divides. Divide when needed. Divides when needed. Understand? Like hepatic cells. We transplant a liver from one person to another. We can transplant liver, but we transplant only a part of liver. When needed, the hepatic cells are divided and completes the liver. This is called stable cells. Permanent cell cannot divide once formed. Cannot divides when formed. Like neurons. Like neurons. If I got cut on my hand, it can be repaired on mitosis. But if due to any injury, I take incision, I take dysfunction in neurons, it cannot be repaired. Brain cells cannot be recovered. So these are permanent cells. Three cells, the labile cell, stable cell, permanent cell. The musalsal divide ki gisanga chivekhtagati. These are the types of cells. Broadly, we will discuss it in detail in cytology. But many cells have a very good. Now we will go forward for internal and external environment, and for that we will take some cells from body and blood. For example, we have total body weight is external and internal fluids. External and internal body fluids. If we divide our body in dry mass and fluid, if we divide our whole body in two parts, for example, I have total body weight, and I want to divide this into two parts, the dry body weight, and body fluids, total body fluids. If this is 100% or 100 kg, out of 100 kg, only and only 40% is dry mass and 60% is body fluids. Total body fluids are 60%. For example, what is total body fluids are also further divided into two parts: intracellular fluids, and extracellular fluids, ICF and ECF. Out of 60%, if we divide 60 into three parts, for example, 20 plus 20 plus 20, three parts, 2/3 is intracellular fluids, 2/3. Two parts out of three is intracellular, and 1 out of 3 is extracellular fluids. Mean that 40% is intracellular fluids and 20% is extracellular fluids. Now we will differentiate intra and extracellular fluids. For example, I have cells here. These are body cells. So this is important for hemostasis, which is the next topic in your syllabus. Hemostasis. We have blood also. We have blood also. Blood, and in blood we have RBCs, red blood cell, and plasma. Now listen carefully. Here the fluids are present inside cell, and inside cell fluids are called intracellular fluids. Intracellular fluids. These are intracellular fluids. Intracellular fluids. Intracellular fluids. Fluids. But there are some fluids present outside cell. All the cells are embedded in fluids, and these green fluids are called extracellular fluids. Extracellular fluids. So intracellular fluids are 40%. For example, if we take this in 100 kg, 100 kg body weight, 40 kg is dry, and 60 liters are fluids. 60 liters. Out of 60 liter, 40 liters are intracellular and 20 liters are extracellular. But if you see here, in blood there is something else is also present, which is called plasma. Plasma is present here. And this is also outside cell, RBCs. This is the part of extracellular fluids. But lifetime, remember this point, for lifetime, there are some perforations and capillaries. And capillaries cells, there are some perforations. There are some holes through which these fluids mix with extracellular fluids, and these are mixed with plasma. They go freely, but these extracellular fluids cannot cross this membrane of cell. It cannot cross the membrane of cell. Gore Chikam the green dida extracellular fluids that the tour membrane nishi cross kole. That is cell tadan nishitle. The intracellular the delta nishiratle. Ho the delta chikam fluids the plasma. The delta ratlishi or the come to the green delta fluids is a plasma blood tatlishi. Actually extracellular fluids are divided into further two parts. ACF is divided into two parts. The one is interstitial fluids. Interstitial fluids. And the second one is the extracellular fluids is further divided into interstitial fluids and plasma. Plasma, there is some compositional difference between plasma and interstitial fluids. And what is that difference? Plasma have a lot of proteins, albumin, globulins, etc., hemoglobin. And interstitial fluids have no proteins as compared to plasma. Actually, This dark green fluids is the ultrafiltrate of plasma. Plasma is filtrating and it forms interstitial fluids. If we divide interstitial fluids and plasma, collectively it is 20%, mean 20 liters. If we divide the 20 into 4 parts, for example, 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. Out of these 4 parts, 3 parts are interstitial fluids, 3 parts, and 1 part is plasma. Mean that 15% is interstitial fluids and 5% is plasma. Right? Understand? Any confusion? This concept is important for hemostasis, and hemostasis is your next topic. Inshallah, on Monday we will discuss hemostasis. Right? Discuss if we talk about the composition of intracellular fluids and extracellular fluids. They have cations and anions. Cations and anions. ICF have ICF, intracellular fluids, rich in potassium, magnesium, and organic phosphates. Organic phosphates like ATP, ADP, AMP. They are negatively charged. These are anions and these are cations. But in extracellular fluids, as I discussed in Darwin's theory of ocean, extracellular fluids have sodium chlorides, sodium chloride, sodium salt, and HCO3 bicarbonate ions, HCO3 minus. Goreos. ICF chile intracellular extracellular fluids membranes ځکه نشي کراس کولی چې all the membranes are semi permeable. سیمی پرمیبل دی ته وایي کنه چې هر یو سیز دې ته دننه نشي تللی. ستاسو دا کلاس دی کنه، دې ته هر یو کس ډایرکټ نشي راتلی. دا ټیچر راتلو پرنسپل راتلو مې ناکینګ وکړو چې درشم که در نشم. ټیک ده؟ نو دغسې هر یو سیل ته هغه سیز دننه تلی شي کم چې دننه ضرورت دی. د ضرورت نه علاوه که دې ته دننه ځي نو دا بلاست کېږي. نو د دې د وجې نه دا فرمیبیلیټي پراپرټیز دي په دې کې. ښه ټیک ده. Now the last point, the extracellular environment is called the internal environment of body. Remember this point. Extracellular fluids are called internal environment of body. The Claude Bernard, your scientist. This concept is brought by Claude Bernard, that extracellular fluids are the internal environment of body because extracellular fluids have all the nutrients and ions which are needed by inside cell. For example, if intracellular environment needs sodium, sodium is present here. If it needs calcium, calcium present here. If it needs chloride, chloride present outside. So all the nutrients, all the electrolytes and all the ions which are needed by intracellular fluids, internal environment, all are present in extracellular fluids. So the extracellular fluids is called the internal environment of body. And as we discussed that in physiology, we study the relation between internal environment and external environment. The external environment is this air, trees, etc. And the internal environment is extracellular fluids. Right? Any confusion? Any question? ठीक रहा नोर बस अब आओ